All right. Well, he made it. Yay. I'm so excited. And my name is Coe Lewis, and this is the Coexist podcast. This podcast is created to support amazing people and amazing organizations around the world. And I am so grateful that Darrick Thomson is on his phone actually with me. And you're looking right now at Kevon. And Kevon was the world's loneliest elephant, a global story about the plight of an animal that was stuck in a zoo in Islamabad. And with, many organizations and countries coming together and so many people, Kevon now has an amazing story and he's flourishing. And I want to welcome Darrick. Darrick, thank you so much for being here. And that's the cutest elephant butt I've ever seen. Yay, Kevon.
Dude,
So,
are you cute,
Darrick,
man?
we're thrilled you're here. And I have to tell you, Darrick is a co-founder of Save Elephant Foundation. You're at the Elephant Nature Park. You are so embedded in the world of dealing with captive elephants, neglected animals, and you provide sanctuary and rehabilitation. And that animal right there was a huge story. There's a documentary on him. And Darrick, I want to focus on you. I know that you are a very modest guy, but you are doing amazing work and it's so impactful and the world is cheering you on. So Darrick, let me just go back with me for a second. If we can take a look at you on your phone, you're a former firefighter from Toronto. You did that for 17 years.
19, yes.
You dropped tools and you moved out to Thailand. You are married to a god in the world of conservation, Lek Shailert. And I just have to, I thought I had a crazy story that I'm a DJ who started a foundation with a ranger team in Zambia. But here you were a firefighter and here you are in Thailand and you have the greatest job in the world. So how did you get here, Darrick? How tell me your story and our listeners and viewers can learn about you and the amazing work you're doing.
How did I get here? Well, it's a long story, but the short one being I used a lot of my free time as a firefighter to do animal rights work, and one of those things was at a time I went to Thailand to do work on help with a friend of mine who was doing a film on trade endangered species, Burma-China border, and then I was with him and. Well, he knew this place after we'd been in Myanmar for a while, and we came back to Thailand, and I met Lek at the park, and I was kind of stunned by her presence, and it went from there. That's the short story.
It's an amazing story. And, not everybody can, decide that they're going to do something in another country, follow their passion and do something so impactful. Because I truly think that you've got the greatest job in the world. And anybody who's seen the video, I mean, there are countless videos of you and your animals, but the video that kills me is man playing with this elephant family. You have millions of views on that. And it shows you the bond you have with these animals coming from all walks of life. Like I said, neglected zoos, malnourished. There's just countless things. They could have been begging elephants. And you have this place, this blissful heaven, and you are now providing care for how many animals now with all your properties and like between elephants and everything else? How many animals are you guys protecting right now?
Well, in Thailand, we have many under our umbrella. So Save Elephant Foundation has a lot of projects in Thailand and in a few other countries here in Southeast Asia, and help to support and further the best, a better scenario for captive elephants. So, but at their park, Elephant Nature Park in Thailand, northern Thailand, Chiang Mai, we have over 100 elephants. I've been away for almost 9 months now, so it's a bit of a hardship, but we've had other rescues in that time that I've been away, so there's some elephants I have yet to meet and greet, and I'm looking forward to that when this is over here with Kevon in Cambodia, and just beginning rather for Kevon, and he's going to have an amazing life here.
He's
So
already started to have an amazing life, and I love that you have him as the star of this. Kevon is a story that you know it started kind of back in 2016. There's this zoo in Pakistan, and people were seeing this elephant suffering just immense suffering going on. He was brought to the zoo in 1985. He was 1 year old, been a captive elephant in a zoo for 35 years. And there was this groundswell of people who just could not watch what was happening anymore. He lost his mate in 2012. She had died from infection due to the shackles that they had in this horrible zoo. And what happened was the world came together, and all these people and all these great organizations, to get this animal out of that zoo and into a place where he could heal. He could be an elephant. He could be in contact with other elephants because he had been alone for over 8 years. And because of it, his behavior had changed, become aggressive. He physically declined. He emotionally declined. So tell me, how did this happen? How did Cambodia Wildlife Sanctuary get Kevon? Because there were a lot of moving parts. There was four paws involved. You had three countries. Tell me how Cambodia Wildlife got him and how you became kind of the protector and keeper of him in this whole project, getting him acclimated.
well, it took a while. We were approached several years ago as a potential site for his relocation. Uh, Cambodia Wildlife Sanctuary is a foundation that was established here back in the same time the park started in
Mm-hmm.
2002, and it's founded by David Castleman in LA and a businessman here in Thailand named Mr. Sok Hong, and their goal, of course, was to create this fabulous. Not only rehabilitation, but a site where it's Cambodia Wildlife Sanctuary, so a place of preservation and conservation. And it's a huge property. We have 33,000 acres here, and it has great potential and long way to go. But so we were approached because of the nature of our landscape, and asked, and of course the Save Elephant Foundation has been involved here as running the projects for rescue and rehab since 2010.
Looking at him right now, and you see kind of the structure behind him, when I was kind of digging into your story and the work you've been doing. So this was such an undertaking because where he was, they had to train Kevon to go into a crate, basically. They had to teach him. This was not like, hey, we're going to just pack you up and send you to another sanctuary. This was a long process. You had to have government officials sign off on it. A judge ruled in favor of getting this animal out and actually closing the zoo because it was in such bad shape. So they get him on a cargo plane, everybody working together, and get him over. But there is a lot of infrastructure that you have to build taking care of a bull elephant. I mean, you just can't let him wander off. There's guarding, you've got ways to guard him and protect him. You've got pools to build. And you were right in the midst of all this construction. Where did that come from? Was that just something you picked up along the way in your work in conservation?
No, I've kind of been a builder for a better part of my life, and so that's kind of dovetailed with when Lek and I got together and helped to build the infrastructure in the park and how to do it best, especially when you have large numbers of elephants in limited space. But here, of course, we have unlimited space uh, that we're really happy to be able to use for our elephants. We have three other ladies here
Mm-hmm.
who've all met Kevon. They're adjacent shelter in behind in his temporary quarantine here. And they go out, of course, in the day into the forest, into the fields. They're free roaming, as females that are well adjusted can be. A bull is a different matter, and so he's in this space to adjust. And it's been a little long, but it's a big job we had to enclose an area of 30 acres for him. We're still about 2 months set to finish and until he walks not too far from here into his beautiful forest home. So there's a lot to prepare, and we're working on the pool right now. It's almost finished, and then there's its gates and some other fencing, external fencing that allows him daytime use. So that's kind of the structure of what we're doing here for him. It's kind of unheard of in the captive bull elephant world, certainly. Captive bulls. He's actually doesn't have a unique story so much. Bulls in general in captivity are treated ruthlessly, and their
Yeah.
life is a living hell. And for him to have this, to be able to set a standard, which of course one of the problems is space for people when they have captive elephants, and cost to be able to carry. You can't just leave a bull to wander around. They're they're a different animal. He's never
Mm-hmm.
gone through Python the training not the strict training that most captive bulls who are free roaming and do uh, trekking or other activities in proximity to other elephants and humans. That's a high risk endeavor, especially if a bull is in must. They're very risky for safety for elephants
Mm-hmm.
and others. Injuries happen continually and death. But he's a fortunate boy, and this is kind of where I'd like to see captive bulls treated in the future if the will is there to be able to set aside space for them to be.
To let
There's a
them,
lot of
yeah,
issues.
yeah,
There's a lot of
and it,
issues.
when you look, Darrick, the video of how he was in the zoo, and he had that horrible swaying, the psychological damage, and they just sway. They're just the boredom. They're trapped. It's so painful to watch when you see what he used to look like and the life he did have. And right now, I'm just looking at this beautiful boy. He's eating. He's happy. He's feeling your good energy. And that's something, again, you're a very modest man. So I'm going to toot your horn. You have this incredible energy and this soul that the animals, I can totally sense that you were there to help. You were there to support. And look at how good he looks. I mean, he's just a different animal right now. And it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better, and it's just because of the work that you're doing. How much time do you spend with him? Do you let him do his own thing, or are you just right there to
Well,
be
he's
like
here.
reinforcement?
Yeah, I spend as much time as I can. We're pretty busy with the construction phase, so I come and go from visiting with him. But he has his mahout over there doing
Hmm.
cleanup right now, cleaning up nighttime duties, and he has a good relationship too. That's a little different. Uh, um, I give more credit to Kavan for what he's undergone and his willingness to forgive at least some. Bulls tend not to be able to. They pick a person. They usually have one or two people that they would choose to. Okay, I'm okay with you.
Hmm.
Um, but females can be a little broader in that. But it depends. Everybody's so different. You have such a range. You have dangerous bulls. You certainly have dangerous females, and they've all gone through terrible suffering in captivity, and denied their natural behaviors and their needs, their forest home, their the right to life, and that's got to change. And we have to rethink and look at. That whole role of captive elephants and our use of them. And there's probably the crux. It's our use of them. We've taken this highly sentient social being and commodified it for profit, and this has to stop. We have to create a situation where there's respect and give them as much as we can, given our current global situation with the environmental crises and the lack of land and too many people. We have to look at this and give them back as much as we're able, and create situations of sanctuary for captive elephants. You know that wild elephants are highly threatened, because of population and encroachment and the loss of habitat. Uh, they need. We owe them a great debt. So there's not a lot of place to put uh, a captive elephant in the wild. But these are questions we have to address
Right.
and deal with in the very soon in a very timely manner, because there isn't a lot of time for both wild and captive elephants. So it's
Yes.
very serious.
And encroachment, and you're absolutely right. Encroachment is such a problem. We're dealing with it with our organization in Zambia. The population is moving closer to the park. It's causing human animal conflict. The animals always lose. And I know it's a situation in Asia, same thing going on, even more so because the population is immense in Asia in many countries. And so you're absolutely right. This is a plight of an epic proportion. So these animals. So for people who might not be familiar with what's going on with the Asian elephants over there, Darrick, can you explain like the animals that you're taking care of? Like, what is the biggest issue? Is it the begging elephants? Is it logging? Where is this all coming from? Like these animals, where are they coming from to your sanctuary?
They come from across section. They come from Thailand. So step back a few. Just the whole situation of a captive elephant, whether they're bred in captivity or caught in the wild and made to be a serviceable animal to human entertainment value, and that is a great trauma and tragedy for them. And where they're all have similar stories, as I was saying, and of abuse, neglect, harm. Pajan is one. Females, the long-term suffering, separated when they're young, separated. Forced breeding, where it's to an animal that typically is a matriarchal society, and they bring in a bull not of their choosing. Is a very highly developed social being, and we have no respect for it. And to be able to force breed this incredible animal, and then have the mother raise the young for a very short period of time, and then sell its offspring off. These are young that would stay with their parents, a female especially, their whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's a herd animal, and to
Mm-hmm.
quantify it and to commodify it is to take its great uh, its need away from it.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, you're
its
ripping babies away
destiny.
and they're being carted off to other countries and other zoos and, like you said, other industries, and it's criminal in every sense of the word. I'm looking online, some people chiming in. Alice wanted to know, what is the state of animal welfare laws in Thailand and Cambodia? Where do we stand with that right now?
They're virtually in throughout Southeast Asia, throughout most of the world. We're just now starting to recognize them as a sentient beings, as individuals who have rights. So this is just happening now, even in the West. It's so far to go. When we consider the West is where most zoo animals go to, that's not yet respected this animal as a herd animal, and given it, we have to step back, empty the zoos and go and start looking at other options for them. There's sanctuaries in North America. There's sanctuaries in Europe.
Mhm.
There's places where they deserve to be. If they don't go back home where they came from, there's other means in which we can manage their future in a compassionate way. But the where yeah, so that's
Yeah. No,
kind
I
of where
get
we're
it.
at. There's a lot of things that have to change. You can't steal the young. We got to put ourselves in their shoes more, and look at what we've done. It's a great tragedy,
I mean,
and we owe
imagine if
them.
you're a family and you have children and somebody says, "Oh, okay, well, we're going to take those kids and you're never going to see them again." And okay, we got to go. This is exactly what's happening, and it's happening time and time again. And these animals are forced into things that are completely foreign to them. They're broken. There's a breaking of these animals to break their will, and it is a harsh and incredibly cruel process to to make them more malleable for whatever industry they're in. And this goes on and on. And some people hide behind tradition and all this stuff. What it is just wholesale cruelty. And it's something that literally has to stop. We're seeing the ramifications of it. And
Absolutely.
so how many Asian elephants are on the continent right now?
Oh my. On the continent. Well, Asian elephants. India has the largest wild population, and I'm not sure the number of their captive. They
Hmm.
have. There's varying figures, but it's
Hmm.
probably close to 20. I've heard 28,000, but I think it's maybe even less than 20. They have maybe have the largest population of wild elephants, but they have the highest rate of decline as well.
Yeah.
And again, that's from uh, abuse and harm and neglect, as well as from encroachment on for the wild elephants on their native lands.
Yeah.
Uh, that's a really tough one to answer, right? How do we resolve that problem of space? Because this is really critical for the elephant. If it's going to have a natural life, then space it needs in the wild,
Hmm.
certainly, and even in captivity as much as it's able. But when you look at our human population growing at 250,000 people per day, a
Yeah.
whole large city every day, and
Yeah.
think of the infrastructure and think of the impacts and feeding us and everything else, especially when when we're uh, centered uh, in an animal agricultural uh, scenario for
Yeah.
sustaining us. It's just impossible. The
Yeah.
environmental impacts of animal agriculture are vast and have to be addressed as soon as possible, and well recommended by many scientists, as well as everybody's getting on board that. It's just
Yeah.
a
Finally.
plant-based diet for
Finally, I mean,
sustainability.
the world is out of balance right now, Darrick. I mean, it's completely out of
Indeed.
balance, and the animals are losing, and now people are just they've just people who are watching this unfold. They're like, you know what? We've had it, and we're going to do something about it. My friend Beth Hill sent in a note and said, "Has the logging industry actually abolished use of elephants in Asia? Is logging with elephants still going on?"
Yes, it does. It happens illegally here. Well, in Thailand, it's very little of it goes on here in Cambodia. There's a very small population of both wild and captive elephants.
Hmm.
Lao uses elephants in logging and is shifting to the sort of the entertainment end of things. Uh, Thailand has traditionally used many elephants in logging until they banned logging in '89 because of the loss of virtually all of the forests.
Yeah.
And so that was a wake up call, and they had to ban. But then Myanmar is still logging heavily with elephants, even though there's a few uh, movements to end that. It's still in place. Elephants suffer greatly, especially during these COVID times.
Ugh,
Uh,
yeah.
when the captive elephants suffer enormous uh,
Yeah.
challenges.
Yeah, COVID is hurt everybody in every possible way, and if you're in conservation or nonprofit working with animals, it's been the most challenging 18 months, and you can imagine. I get that. So, Darrick, let me ask you, this is such a big operation. You're dealing with a lot of animals in different areas. Where does most of the funding come from? Is it from the public? Do you have people who are specifically supporting your organizations, like, because it is such a massive project? How does it sustain itself? How do you guys keep going?
Um, well, it's from a broad base that loves Lek,
Hmm.
and her work, and
Hmm.
she does an incredible things and makes things happen through the support of her people who love what we're doing, and it's really we don't have any corporate or governmental sponsorships or anything like that, where we rely
Wow.
on the care and love of people globally around the world who value what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, you're married to a dynamo. I mean, she is so highly
Absolutely.
regarded, and she's amazing. And obviously, she married an amazing guy who understands the mission and thinks the same way. And you've got to find the right partner in crime to do this, because it's a really very difficult industry. It can be extremely emotional, very painful, but the successes when we're looking right now at Kevon, and he's just eating. He's doing something he's never been able to do for 35 years. And there's a documentary out, and Cher got involved with the rescuing of Kevon. And what happened was, I guess her followers on Twitter kept mentioning Kevon, and so she kind of got this groundswell and came into the story. And it's called Cher and the Loneliest Elephant. And this documentary was released on April 22nd. How was that whole experience? I mean, filming with her, and again, very strange things happen, but it all was for such a great cause. How did that all go?
Well, it was great when the arrival was great. I had a few moments with Cher, not a lot of time as much as I would have liked to, but she's busy and she had a lot of things happening, and there was a lot of different areas to film and talk about. So, and they're here for a short time, mostly to get them, see them into this quarantine area that they helped to support to establish his arrival. Which we were working gangbusters to complete in a very short period of time. 6 weeks we finished this
Wow.
space. It's about 3/4 of an acre.
Wow.
Now since then, of course, we've been working on his large enclosure through the support of many people. One in particular, David. I mentioned David earlier. David Castleman. He's been a great emotional and encouragement. It's been fantastic. He's a beautiful man, and provided the funds for at least half of his new 30-acre home.
That's amazing.
And many around the world who have done the same. David works closely with Save Elephant Foundation, Live and Collect, and myself. He's a very good friend.
That's amazing. And we all need angels like that in our lives. Again, I'm speaking with Darrick Thomson of Save Elephant Foundation. He's right now at the Cambodia Wildlife Sanctuary, and that beautiful animal that you're watching, because Darrick is modest and he would rather shine the light on good things that he's achieving and helping. And that is Kevon, who was the world's loneliest elephant. And this was a massive global story. And he looks great. Tell us how he's doing in his rehab. How is his emotional state? How's his physical state from when you got him? I'm sure he was pretty much a disaster when you guys got him physically and emotionally. Tell us how he's been doing over the past few months.
Well, I'd like to say it was just a few months, but it's a lot longer than that. He's been here since the beginning of December, and we're almost ready to walk him free. But no, he arrived, of course, groggy. He was sedated in his transport. That's a safety management necessity. And so it took him a day or so to come out of that. And he was calm. He was calm for the longest time. He had very few stresses. He'd walk around and check out his new space. It's certainly better than where he came from, and then there's no abuse or harm, and certainly a better diet. His body condition improved. We've been applying things to some of his injuries. And he's just his demeanor is very good. He still has some occasional stereotypical behaviors when he's waiting for food. He may
Don't
think
we all?
he thinks that it's not coming, but it's always coming. He has no shortage of food here, mixed varieties. We have a team of 4 ladies who go out and cut Kevon's grass because there's not enough in here that's exposure to sustain him. So we have a team that goes and cuts beautiful grass. He loves this. We found many different foods, and we have a mixed diet with fruits and vegetables that he's discovered and loves, and banana trees and all that kind of thing. And but he's calm. And here's his little wading pool. It was not meant to be a pool. We're building a pool. It's huge, but he's good. His demeanor, his mental state is positive. We have, as I said, developing quite a good relationship, and I'm quite fond of the boy. It's gonna be hard to leave.
But you'll come back and see him. I mean, you're bonded with them. You're imprinted on each other right now, and that's never going to go away. It's so beautiful to watch. I can't even again, speaking with Darrick Thomson of Save Elephant Foundation, and right now he's in Cambodia. He's been there a long time, prepping and getting ready for this magnificent elephant who had endured such hardship and just the worst of everything, trapped in a god awful zoo. And through the force of many and a groundswell, and then Cher getting on board, and 3 countries having to come, to agree to this, and government agencies and rulings. In fact, that the Pakistani judge ordered this was groundbreaking.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
do
that's
you?
fantastic.
Yeah, there was a lot of moving parts going on to get this animal here. And we need good stories, Darrick, because we live in a world that's just god awful right now with so many horrible things going on. We really have to cling to these success stories and sheer joy. And anybody who knows elephants and how sensitive and how smart they are, you realize that they can suffer as deeply as we can, but when they succeed and do well, it's magic. It's pure magic. And people just needed this story. We just clung to this story, and we're so glad you're part of it. So when you're done with this project, where are you going next? Are you going back to a particular area? Where will you be going after the Kevon sanctuary is where you want it, like the way you want it?
Well, I right immediately when after the boy's in his new space. Hopefully, I have some time to spend with him and see how he adjusts and adapts. It's going to be amazing for him to see an elephant who's never really scrubbed up against a tree or eaten
Uh,
wild browse and just enjoyed natural mud pits and just life. And
mhm.
that's going to be great. Um, but after that, I'll be going. I have to go back to Canada to renew my visa to get back into Thailand because I was here
Oh,
too long and overstayed my renewal of that. And so I go home. It'll be a nice time. Visit my parents and brothers, and then as soon as possible get back to Thailand and my love.
that's amazing. How are you guys apart a lot because of this and because of the work she's doing and the work you're doing? Are you guys usually together, or are you apart? What is the relationship like in this world of what you do?
Well, this is rather unusual. We're rather usually not apart like this, uh, but given Kevon's needs and the COVID situation, there was no ability to go back and forth to Thailand and manage the project in his new area. I'm here until he's free,
Mhm.
and that's soon. Yes. So
And
uh,
and and
yeah,
that and that's something else to bring up, Darrick, is when this was all happening, this is in the midst of a global pandemic. Like, what are the chances that things could actually come together and work when the world completely stopped? Nobody knew what was going on. I mean, everything was impacted. That this huge production of getting Kavan out of Pakistan to Cambodia, we couldn't even get to another county. It was hard because of COVID, let alone another country. That is, kudos to everybody involved that this
yes,
amazing
indeed.
story happened during COVID. I mean, what are the chances?
Yeah, it's been quite a journey for him and so many people who've taken his personal story and made it part of their own. And to get him here has been a great effort, and
Yeah.
one that
In
took
fact,
years.
Jenna Lee, who was the person, and I'm so grateful, who put me in contact with you to make this all happen. She said, if you'd like to help build Kavan's jungle home, go to spotfund.com. That's spotfund.com if you want to help build his fabulous jungle home because he's so worthy. In a great way. And what's another way people can donate? Can they go to saveelephant.org, or where else can people support the work
Well,
that you're doing?
the work we're almost done his enclosure. We still have some funds required to complete it, but it's through that spot fund link. Um, the that I can send it to you if you're able to put it up on your
Yeah,
podcast.
that would be
I'll give you
great.
the
So
link.
spotfund.com, and then Janice put in sponsor at www.saveelephant.org. Will that work as well?
I'll give you the correct link. That you
Okay.
can the best is to go through the Spot Fund Kevon support page for
Okay, Spot
his
Fun
enclosure. Yeah.
on support page. Okay, we'll do that. That's awesome. So how many other at that particular sanctuary are how many animals are there? Not just elephants. What other types of animals are there, and what is the total number that are being
Yeah.
cared for?
So right now we have 4 elephants. We have numerous. We have a 20-acre enclosure. You can just see kind of the old roofs here.
Mhm.
It's a perimeter that supports numerous rescued wildlife, but monkeys in particular, rescued macaques, and we have gibbons and some other primates and other civet cats that we've released into there. They were used in uh, they were caught captive and either being sold in the market or used as pets on a chain around their necks and things. So that's how that ended up. We've got about 30 monkeys in there, and otherwise we have some rescued dogs. We have a lot of but that's fairly small. We have about 30 dogs as well, and cats and feral
Mhm.
cats that we rescue and rehabilitate and sterilize and vaccinate and all this. The same thing you do for all of our animals.
Yeah.
Here we don't have many, and at the Elephant Nature Park we have thousands of animals, over 3,000 animals that we
That's
manage to sterilise.
amazing. So tell us about Elephant Nature Park because that's a huge like so many people have that on the must-do list in their life. Tell us about that project. Like you said, you have over 3,000 animals. Wow. I feel like I'm
Yeah,
in I know where my next home is. I'm just moving in with you guys. I would be in nirvana completely.
it's a rescue rehab certainly scenario for given we don't have a lot of space, and that's a challenge.
Mhm.
David, again, I mentioned David. He's supporting us in the acquisition of new land to improve our ability to care for animals in large areas. Right now, elephants are given we have over 100 elephants there. Um, we need more space, and we have other rescued animals that come from either the potentials to the slaughterhouse. We have many buffalo and cows, and we have horses from racetracks. We have hundreds of rabbits and chickens and geese and you name it, and dogs and
Uh,
cats especially 1,000 cats and almost as many dogs. And, so it's a big undertaking,
a
and
big production. A
it
big
takes
production.
a lot of revenue. That's the challenge now with COVID is to find that. But we've had fantastic support, and Lek is very uh, savvy on how to help not just our own. We've over this COVID time, given that elephants have suffered so badly, and food was a shortage for many, given that owners had no revenue from typical tourism, uh, and we helped a couple of thousand elephants over this time feed and care for and establish them in a different routine, and it's start up sponsorship programs to keep elephants away from traditional activities uh, should COVID and this global pandemic scenario change
Yeah.
and tourism increases. Then there's an option for people to not return their elephants, and that's really been a goal of helping them to see that there's other ways of managing the care of elephants rather than
Again, I mean, COVID really impacted many foundations and so many people like are suffering greatly and because you have people out there doing God's work and they are having a hard time keeping food on their own table. Imagine what a
it's
foundation is
amazing.
going through. It's
Yeah.
been extremely challenging. I know we felt it over there. I can't even tell you it really impacted people. And this is a big operation. Both Cambodia Wildlife Sanctuary and the Elephant Nature Park are big um, places that really need funding. I mean, this is a continual thing. Animals need to eat, they need care. It's a continual thing, and you just doesn't stop. um, a couple of things, a couple of people have written out. Alice Ansfield wanted to know, Did any donations come in from other celebrities? Are the donations starting to pick up now? How's it going right now?
For Kevon's
Mhm.
shelter.
Come
Uh,
on, and
it's
for all the stuff that you're involved in.
uh, there's not so much of a celebrity base in our work,
Mhm,
but it's mostly it's commoners who love people who love elephants and other animals that give us the support that we need, and we're looking at other options and
mhm,
for income generating things. We have a few online sales for to help with our sustaining
mhm,
jewelry and other things, products that Lek has got. The people uh, who are part of our project, either directly or indirectly, to market goods that help them sustain their families and the care of their elephants. So there's a lot of very brilliant ideas that came to the fore during this challenging time, and Lex quite a leader in that.
So if people want to donate, are they going to the saveelephant.org? Is that where you want the funds directed? People who want to help
Yes,
all the
Save
great work
Elephant
you're doing?
Foundation has a website and link, and there's it lists our. We were unfortunately during this COVID time, the website has been in reconstruction, so it was down a lot of the time,
Mhm.
which made things even more difficult.
Yeah.
You're able to donate directly to the foundation, or through the Save Elephant page, the PayPal links and things. You can donate through the Trunks Up, the Abraham Foundation in the United States, which started up the Trunks Up initiative and
Mhm.
works with us with the Kevon page. So actually, the Spot Fund link is through Trunks Up, or in the States. Yes,
Okay.
and that's the connection. It has many uh, areas to donate, whether you want to support the different programs with sponsorship,
Mhm.
or Kavon's in there too. The links are clear, and so that's that's really the, those best ways to connect with us, as well as
I'm
the group called the Gentle Giants as well. They're mostly involved in helping their sponsorship programs for elephants to continue their general care and needs during COVID and beyond. And so people adopt basically an elephant and provide the fees that help with daily maintenance, food, and otherwise.
So we've got Spot Fund, we've got Trunks Up, and Gentle Giants are ways for you to support the work that Darrick and Lek are doing in Asia right now. A lot of things are going on. They have a lot of animals to support. And let me ask you this, are you guys bombarded with people saying, "Can you rescue this animal? Can you do this?" I mean, is this a continual barrage of people reaching out desperate to get help for animals? Are you finding this, is this the
Yeah.
situation? I'm just kind of guessing.
Yes, of course. For elephants, as one example, during COVID, people were challenged to provide the needs and to meet the needs of their elephants, their animals, whether they had one or two or many. And so you often would see elephants being sold, and the prices certainly were uh, better than in tourism high times.
Mhm.
The prices were significantly reduced to help rescue that. Some of them, of course, were leased out and have gone to do other things like logging, and that's a travesty. So we were trying to be involved as much as we could to stay that shift in animal elephant use, but they it just yeah, it just takes time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And again, this is a big undertaking. You know, over here in the US, if you like need supplies, you can go down the road to Walmart. You know, we're talking in areas where it's not just easy to run out and get certain things. This is a big production when you're bringing in supplies. We've been watching Kevon this whole time and his diet, and he sure loves to eat. So guess what? They are constantly looking for food and cutting grasses for him. This is a big thing. Animals of his size eat a lot. It takes a lot of money to keep an elephant healthy and happy. And I can't think of anybody more deserving than Kevon right now. And obviously he's doing really, really well because a lot of people cared and a lot of people do something. Darrick, and that's something I want to bring up quickly, is I started this podcast because I wanted to share the story of people doing amazing things and amazing organizations. And the world can feel really overwhelming and you feel like, how can I make a difference? How can I change anything? And all you have to do is look at the story of Darrick. Here you were a firefighter, and all of a sudden you change your life, you go to another country and you immerse yourself into a need and you're trying to right a wrong going on. What words would you give to somebody out there who wants to do something, who feels helpless and hopeless right now? What can they do? How can they change the world in a way? Like, what advice would you give somebody?
Well, it's an open door. I would say that it depends on what your vision is. If you want to help a particular animal or something like that, but honestly, people have so much power in their hands and they don't even know it. They never understand that to change the world. Well, you look at around and what is the problem with the world? It's so multifaceted. There's so many issues, and there's overarching issues where we can play a significant role when we talk about global warming and our carbon footprints and all that. There's many ways, and we can creatively and proactively make decisions that better in our world. I would say that first, a person should start each day full of gratitude. I think that's the best starting point to look at the world and to live compassionately, to be to believe in yourself, to believe that change is imminent and possible, and that there's two decisions really. If I'm looking at our global problem, what we touched on it briefly earlier about the population problems, that's a choice. Where are we going with that? 250,000 people a day. It's not possible. So that's a choice. So the power is in our hands, in our ability to change that. And as to the most single greatest thing you can do to change, to offset carbon footprints and our environmental impact, if you're concerned about global warming and our current crisis, which is the overwhelming scenario that must be addressed, then you make choices that better that situation, such as shift to a plant-based diet, and that's very easy to do. And in our current living conditions, there's so much. Hiya, buddy. Yeah, beautiful.
Look at Oh my God, look at it. I am so in love with Kevon. I just want to reach through the screen right now. Oh, I am so jealous, Darrick. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. You have the greatest job in the world. I'm just letting you know you have the greatest job in the world. Look at that. But you're right. We can start with ourselves. We can start in our home. We can stop using an obscene amount of plastics. We recycle. We go to a plant-based diet. We can start right there. And again, here I am, a radio broadcaster for 30 plus years, and I just kept getting the signs that I was supposed to do something bigger on a grander scale. And I started a foundation in 2015. All you need to do is believe in yourself and start somewhere. And all of a sudden things will happen. You put it out to the universe and things will happen. And Lek and Darrick started somewhere. They put one foot forward and took a next step to make a change, to do something. And if you see something wrong, do something about it, because silence can be deadly. It can kill, and it happens all the time. If you see something, say something and do something about it. And people, this is exactly the case with Kevon. People saw something and they did something about it. And that's why we've got this beautiful elephant in a completely different state, living in Cambodia, doing well, thriving. He's going to get his new enclosure soon, and things can happen. This is what you do. You can change the world. Just take that first step. Reach out.
Amen.
Reach out to saveelephant.org. If you want to say, hey, I'd like to help, what can I do? Just start somewhere. And again, Darrick, you know, I watched a lot of your stuff, and again, I had said at the beginning, I saw so many videos of you, and I never made the connect that you were the person I was going to be speaking to until I looked at your face again. I'm like, oh my God, that's Darrick. Like, I felt so excited to talk to you because, again, you're very modest, but I'm going to tell anybody who's listening, you're doing amazing work, and you're doing this. Your spirit is driving change, and Lex spirit, you're driving change, and people are watching, and they're observing, and they're seeing the change that you're creating, and you're changing animals' lives, and you're changing the way people think. This is a global movement, and you are right at the forefront. So give yourself some credit, because if you don't, I'm going to give you credit, because
You're very generous.
you're amazing, and your wife is amazing, and you inspire us. And I want to be a better person, and I want to do more. And again, our special guest is Darrick Thomson, co-founder of SaveElephant.org and the foundation. And you can help. You can help Kevon. You can go to Spot Fund. There's Kevon support there. Trunks Up, Gentle Giants, and you can do God's work. You can help these animals. You can take a stand, and you can start enlightening people and teaching people. We've got a real problem going on. There's encroachment, human animal conflict. What can we do? Because somebody might come up with a genius tactic, like we're doing biofencing where we are in Zambia to stop the human animal conflict, and it's working. You know, people come up with really smart things when there's a need. And I hope we find there's somebody watching or listening who says, you know what? I think I've got an idea. I think I can help. So that's what it's all about, just coming together. So Darrick, I'm so grateful for your time. Thank you so much.
Pleasure's mine. Appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
Well, the pleasure's been all mine. Again, best of luck. We love Kevon. Thank you. Thank you for having Kevon on this. I'm obsessed with Kevon. I just want to go give him a big hug and just tell him that he's in the greatest hands. We're so happy for his success. Again, we all needed a great story, a story of triumph and coming together. And he's just only going to get bigger and better. And he's just beautiful. And thank you for just doing your work that you do. I'm just really touched, and I'm really I'm honored to be speaking with you.
Same from me to you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Darrick.
What you're doing here.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much. And I hope for our viewers and our listeners, please share this. The more people who know about it, the more power we have in the world to change the world. That was the concept of having Coexist, is to support people doing great work. And there's such a great need. And you can have success stories just like Kevon right there. So again, Coexist right there. My special guest, Darrick Thomson, Save Elephant Foundation, also Elephant Nature Park. Right now, he's at the Cambodia Wildlife Sanctuary. He's waiting to get Kevon into his next enclosure and his new life, and being a real elephant and having real relationships with other elephants. So Darrick, God bless you. Please give our love to Lek, and hopefully let's stay in touch. And if I get out there, you know I'm going to track you down. I will come see you guys for sure.
You do that. You do that. Absolutely.
And when you come, and when you go to Africa, come to Zambia, and we'll come see what we're doing over there. We'd love to have you.
That's on the bucket list.
Sounds good. It's a date. All right. Okay. That is Coexist, another edition. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for all the great input that we had. And please share this with your friends, and we appreciate it. Any suggestions you have for a great guest, that's what it's all about. Please let me know. Just email me at coe, C-O-E, at Nsefu, Nsefu.org. I would love to learn about great people doing great work out there. Darrick, have a great day. and
Thanks so
enjoy
much.
Kevon and take care. Say hi to the other animals. We're so
Okay.
appreciative. Thank you, Darrick.
Bye bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
See ya.